Welcome back to the eSports Report. I'm Chris Puckett, joined by my good buddies. I got Benson joining me from Atlanta and Kingdom Soldier joining us from the state of Washington. Kingdom, welcome to the show, my friend. Happy Friday to you.
Thank you.
How you doing, my friend? Well, we were just covering the new Call of Duty trailer. What were your thoughts on that? Have you seen all the new details?
Yeah, I actually was up really late last night, and right before I went to bed, I checked Twitter, and I was like, "What is this leaked?" Somebody tagged me in some leaked footage, and of course, I thought it wasn't legit. And then when I watched it, there was no way it was fake, and so I think
That quality's a little too high. Yeah.
the Kevin Spacey character looked really cool. I'm kind of actually interested in playing the single player. Like I think that this game, they're making it look epic, and I am kind of worried that we're gonna get like Titanfall without Titans, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
You know, there was that mini Juggernaut thing. Shoot.
Yeah,
Mini juggernaut
people
thing.
are climbing walls, and I mean, I don't think you can climb walls in competitive and like throw your Spider-Man. You know,
Spider-Man.
it looks really good. I'll say that, but I'm interested to see what it does for multiplayer. And I watched T Martin's breakdown of it. I normally don't watch his breakdowns of trailers, but it was really good. It was pretty informative. So
I gotta check that out. T Martin, one of my favorite content creators on the internet. For sure, we'll get a look at that. But Kingdom, we've been waiting for this moment for you to arrive so we could reveal the bracket. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's show it. Starting at round number 1, Complexity, of course, coming in with the number 1 seed. They have over 170,000 pro points.
Jesus.
Yeah, 170,000. I think the next highest is Optic Nation with 126. So if you'll see that at the bottom half of the bracket, Optic Nation actually comes in with the number 2 seed overall. Now, in the top half of the bracket, we're going to see Strictly Business and Wild Gaming. That's going to be our number 8 in Strictly Business versus number 9 Wild, followed by FaZe Red as they come in with the number 5 seed against 12-seeded Justice. 12, fitting, considering they're number 12 on the MLG COD League right now. Envy comes in with the 4th seed versus Curse Black at number 13. So that's your top half of the bracket, those 8 squads. Now, in the bottom, Team Caliber and FaZe Black. FaZe Black did not get Saints points. So they get the 14 seed. They have to play through the amateur bracket, which is not necessarily terrible news. If you're playing with a new pickup, amateur bracket, sometimes the perfect place to get warmed up. However, you always risk not even making it to that champ bracket. But TK and FaZe Black, I have FaZe Black coming through undefeated and assuming that they will take the 14th seed in our bracket. Now, Optic Gaming and VVV are directly underneath that. Curse Orange and Vex join Optic Nation at the bottom of the bracket. So let's start off at the top, and we don't have an AM number 4, so we're just going to go ahead and move Complexity on. But let's talk about this first matchup here in the top half of Strictly Business versus Wild Gaming. Now, guys, I got to get your thoughts here. SB opened things up 2-0 in the MLG COD League. Since then, they've fallen behind. They're down in the bottom 4 at the moment. But Wild Gaming, this is a new squad. You got Phazinator playing with Wolf. Who takes this matchup? What do you see happening, and what do you know about both teams? Benson, I'll let you go first.
Yeah. Okay, cool. For me, like, a lot of people are going to see this on paper and be like, oh, SB, yeah, they went toe-to-toe with Complexity, they beat Complexity. Different SB team, you have to remember that. You look at the SB team, as you said, they're in the bottom 4 in COD League, struggling a little bit. But these are players which, when you think about it, when was the last time they actually played online? Because of age, mainly. You got Spacely, John, Methods, Stainville, obviously one who did. And I look at that team, and I'm starting thinking, these guys have a serious point to prove. They missed out on one of the biggest tournaments of the year. And now they come to this, and I think they're going to go hard, really, really hard. So, for me, that game has SB written all over it.
Strictly Business, wow. Now, one thing I do want to point out about this SB squad is their Dom captures. We pull back up their overall team stats. Now, Spacely averages over 5.38 captures himself. The team combined 17.25 Dom captures a game. So that either tells me that they're doing a great job of going into the opponent's base, or they're constantly juggling B. Kingdom, what do you know about this SB crew?
I know that they're not doing very well in the league right now, but I agree with Benson. There's an interesting scenario being created here at Niagara that I'm sure everybody's aware of. That there's a few teams that need pro points so that they can secure their X Games trip, and SB is one of those teams. And so I think that if Wild somehow wins this tournament, they can bump themselves up to going to the X Games. So maybe they're going to come out with guns blazing as well. But I see SB taking it. I think that they have the ownership, of course, that we've seen that is going to push them and is going to propel them and is going to have their back. And I think that they're going to come into this warmed up, pumped up, amped up, and they're going to win this match. I think they're going to win this opening match. I don't know much about Wild, to be honest. I know that none of the players are from the roster that was at COD Champs. And so I don't know much about them. I haven't even seen them play, but I do see that SB, they're not going to want to be behind Curse Orange or FaZe Black in pro points at the end of this tournament. So they're going to do everything in their power to make sure they finish as high as possible.
Now, Wild is actually one of my dark horses for this tournament. I'll tell you why. You got FaZe Nader playing with Wolf. Also, Chino is on this roster, coming over from Curse Youth. He wasn't happy on Curse Youth, went to Wild. Out of all the teams he played with, decided to team with these guys, and Demented is their fourth. Now, FaZe, better known as Functions for a lot of Game Battles players, he is on the top 900. He's at 898 overall in GB points. He's constantly grinding. These guys are S&D stars as well. So look for Wild. If they're going to pull off an upset, I think it could happen early on in the tournament or early in the losers bracket. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people expect, but I think the veteran leadership from Stainville and just if Spacely can keep doing offline what he's been doing online, I think this is a squad to watch. I have SB moving on. Ben, you agree with that?
110%.
All right, so all of us going strictly business here in match number 2 of the upper bracket. Let's go into our next match, match 3, FaZe Red versus Justice, and this is where things could get a little bit closer. FaZe Red, your squad to win COD Champs, Ben, going up against the bottom team in the MLG COD League. Justice having to completely rebuild their lineup the day of the roster lock. Stainville was the last member. He went to SB. So big snacks, big snacks, big snacks, big snacks, big snacks. Picked up 4 new boys, half of Denial and half of Xfinity. Let's take a look at this FaZe Red lineup first, as we have Replays, Classic, JCap, and their new addition, Theory. These guys took Complexity all the way to Game 5. In fact, they were up 2-0 in the winner's bracket last UMG in Philadelphia. Now adding Theory to this group. How strong is FaZe Red? Kingdom, kick us off.
They're a little bit weaker, in my opinion. If you look, and we don't have a lot to go off of because a lot of these teams are newly formed based on, the roster craziness that happened. But FaZe Red, they led by leaps and bounds in Search and Destroy in the pro circuit in season 1. And in this season, they're struggling. I think they're at 7-10. And I believe they barely had over 10 losses total in the previous season. And I think that the difference that is being made there is Theory coming on the team instead of Proofy. And I think Proofy, of course, he led in slaying at COD Champs. He was the #1 slayer per respawn. And so there's a difference that's being made in Search and Destroy. And I think that Theory is the difference. And I think Theory also, TK is missing him and he may be missing TK. And FaZe, I don't think they're as good as they were. I do think, of course, that they're going to take this match up against Justice. Justice is an attempt to stay in the league by Big Snacks, and I applaud him for the attempt because he would have lost that spot if he didn't have a team. But they just don't have the chemistry yet. They've only won 1 match in all of the league season, and they're really struggling. And so I think that this FaZe Red team, regardless of whether or not they're better or worse than they were, they're definitely going to take a win against Justice Pro.
All right, so Justice, I think this squad may be a little bit underrated. If you look at my screen right now, Will, you can see Justice doing absolutely terrible in the COD League. They're 1-12, just 8% win rate. They're 9 matches back, and they're 15-38 when it comes to map count. Now, domination, though, they're one strong suit. They're 9-12 overall. I've seen a lot of recent victories or losses within 5 points. So I think coming to land, these guys could be stronger. Their blitz, not necessarily bad, but not great. And their S&D win percentage is just 11%, going 2-17 in the COD League. However, they've taken so many teams to round 11, and they keep choking that round 11. In fact, they're choking 5-4 leads. Justice, though, is another team I think can pull off the upset. I don't see it here. I have FaZe Red moving on. Benson, who do you have?
I'm going to agree with you on that one, Puckett. FaZe Red, for me, definitely should be the team that beats Justice. No disrespect to Justice, of course, but as Kingdom said, the chemistry just isn't there yet. They haven't had enough time to really play, and it was kind of a last-ditch effort, as Kingdom said, to really secure a team in the league. You've got to obviously give Big Snacks a lot of respect for that, but it just isn't working right now. But they are players which can perform very well on LAN. I think that's what he's relying on quite a bit. But hopefully these guys, they sit down, they win the first game, and then from there they steamroll. Because you look at Doubt and Sin, that combination, they're a duo which can really get hyped and cause a lot of teams problems. But then going back to FaZe Red, you add Theory to that team, and they kind of lose the slaying power of Proofy, but they gain so much in objective work. When you go back to COD Champs, Theory was the #1 dom capper going into COD Champs. And all right, he may not be playing that well on COD League, but you can argue, oh well, it's online, you never really played that well. But when it came to LAN, like all the previous lines we've seen, Theory has really played very well in domination. Same with Blitz. You look at the lineup replays. He was sensational last season, and again going into COD Champs was, I believe, the second highest in Blitz caps. So their respawn game is going to be very good. S&D is going to be very, very poor comparative to what it was before, in my personal opinion. Going to have to agree with Kingdom on that one, but still, for a first round game, FaZe should go through no problems.
Yeah, I do want to point out that Theory actually has the most domination caps out of any player in the COD League right now. He does have 24 games played, but he's averaging 5.08 a game. The highest is Doubt at 5.58, but Theory comes in at number 6 overall on that average. But most caps so far, despite playing 24 games. Here's a look at the team overall. 1.01 KD, right up there with Complexity. Their S&D, as you said, this is where they got a little bit weaker, just below 1 point at 0.96. Their S&D plants, not phenomenal at 1.71, but Theory getting most of that work done. And then, like we said, Blitz caps, 10.38. Dom caps is where they dominate, 17.04. So, FaZe Red, I think it's safe to say they're moving on over Justice. Justice, feel free to prove us all wrong and pull off the first major upset. We've been waiting for it in the COD League. You only have one win. Now's your time to shine on land. BL Fire, my player to look out for from that squad this weekend. Moving on to our next match, Curse Black, Envious. Guys, Envy started off amazing. They were #1 on the leaderboard in the COD League. They were 8-2. Now slipping a little bit this week, having some rough games. Curse Black, they've been trading on and off. Envy went to the finals of the 2K. Curse Black made it in the round of 8. Who goes farther in this match? Who takes this one home? Benson, kick us off.
This is a tough one. Obviously, a lot of people know I'm affiliated with Curse. As much as I would love to say Curse Black go through, not a chance in hell, in my honest opinion. I'm living with the guys. I watch them play every single day. Envious, though, from COD Champs, so strong. Parasite in that team as well. Just they become an absolute beast. They really do. However, Curse Black could cause an upset. They're a team, tipsy online. It just turns into some sort of machine. He turns into the Incredible Hulk. But I think the chemistry isn't quite there yet. They're a team that Curse put together to kind of get ready for Anaheim. That was always the goal. Niagara is more just go have some LAN practice. Try and play as well as you possibly can. But Envy are just so on form right now in everything. COD League, great performance from them at Champs. Unfortunate, obviously in the final, but you look at the team that Envy have, and you kind of sit there and you're like, well, this is a really talented team. These guys could really win a championship for Envy.
Now, I think Curse Black's greatest strength is their blitz game at 60% win rate overall in this one. Mochila and Enable definitely the lead slayers on that Curse Black lineup. But when you look at Envy, Parasite has really shined as a new addition of a slayer. And the other three, they take turns going off. Kingdom, who do you think is the strongest player on this squad right now after the addition of Parasite?
Parasite. Parasite, he has the highest kill death ratio on that team, except for in Search and that's because he has the most plants, and so he's carrying the bomb a little bit more than the other guys. But as I look at Parasite, and I was watching a stream the other day, and people were kind of complaining that they said he wasn't paying attention to what was going on around the map. And I think what people don't understand about Parasite when watching him play is that he does his job, and if he does his job well, Envy will win. I think that although Nameless kind of came through and helped Envy perform the way they needed to at COD Champs, I think the addition of Parasite, as long as Parasite does his job, they're going to win. They're going to win their games. And his job is not necessarily, he's not the type of player that when he's aiming with a Remington towards Pawn or something like that, or he's not the type of player to turn around if he sees a gunfight behind him. He'll stay focused where he's supposed to stay focused. And it may look like he's letting his teammates die, but he's trusting his teammates. And that's one thing that has always made Parasite successful, is that he does his job. And if he does his job, Envy hands down will take this match. I mean, they're going to take it anyway. And if they don't, then we're going to see some Better with Rambo hashtags on Twitter.
Of course.
So hopefully they pull out the win. As long as Parasite does his job, they're good to go.
Well, I was looking at some stats here. Study and Parasite, ridiculous KDs when it comes to search and destroy. I think that's going to be the determining factor in this match. I do expect it to go much farther than just 3 games. If it goes to that game 5, though, without a doubt, Envy will seal the deal. 1.33 KD for Parasite and S&D. 1.44 from Study. He was number 1 on the leaderboard. I'll have to check that in a minute. I think he still is there. If not, he deserves to be right up there. Study is a monster, one of the best snipers that we have seen in Call of Duty. So, we've gone through 4 matches so far, all in the top half of this bracket. Guys, I'm calling Envious to take this one 3-1 overall. What do you call it, Ben?
I hate to say this, but it's going to be 3-1 Envy. I'm going to agree with 3-1.
Kingdom?
You could have said 3-2, Benson. Who in the hell did it go?
I could have done, but I can't see it happening. Like, you look at the slaying power Envy has. I can't see them winning the respawn. I think Curse are probably going to take the S&D from Envy, which may surprise a lot of people, but that's where I can see them picking up the map.
I'm going to say 3-1 as well. I just think the combination of these players playing together, even though we haven't really seen them perform on land, but I think playing together, they're going to do exceptionally well. And this is going to be one of their easier matches.
All right, to recap it, we said FaZe Red is going to take down Justice. I'm calling a 3-1 in that one as well. Justice will win 1 game. You guys calling the 3-0?
3-0.
Yeah.
All right. They're calling both 3-0s.
Yep.
I'll give you a game, Justice. I got you, big snacks, big snacks, big snacks, big snacks.
Big
Strictly
snacks.
Business and Wild Gaming. SB. I got them going 3-1 again. They will not go perfect. 3-0, Ben?
3-0.
Kingdom?
3-2.
3-2, going the distance.
Wow. Okay. All right.
3-2.
I like it. Curveball.
Who's the star player in that game 5 for Strictly Business?
Stainville.
Stain. All right, going with the vet. And then Complexity, no matter who they play from the amateur bracket, will go 3-0. That's going to do it for the top half of our bracket in round 1, guys. Stay tuned through the commercial break. On the other side, we'll be talking about what's happening in the Optic side of the bracket. 2 Optic squads. We'll show you where they match up.